You're watching Cheery TV.
Howdy, howdy, everybody, and welcome back to Stranded Deep in Conversation, where I talk about the things that I want to talk about. And today, I want to talk about some absolutely disgusting stories. Yay! Everyone loves some disgusting stories, right? Everyone's got their fair share. Whether it's like shitting stories or like, once I made a bug and my friends watched it and they freaking ate a bug too. Or, there was a lot of stuff. On that frame, probably the grossest thing one of my friends have ever done was one time I had kept a bag of baby carrots in my pocket throughout the entire day of school. I think it was the very last day of 8th grade. So we just left high school. When we just left middle school, that was the last day. I remember it was the last day. I don't know why. There wasn't anything special about the day, but I kept the carrots in my pocket because I don't know why, to be honest with you. But I took them out while we were walking home, and it was me and my one friend. Well, it was two of us, but one of my friends in particular was like, "Dude, I want those carrots. Give me those carrots." And I'm like, "No, they're fucking disgusting." So I put them in my pocket, and they're warm and just disgusting. I opened the bag, and they smell like just disgusting and warm and like vile. And they were like mushy because they sat in my pocket for so long. They just kind of got really, almost like they were cooking in there. It was disgusting. And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to give this to you." So I throw it. I throw the bag. Well, first of all, I almost throw up into the bag. It smells so fucking bad. And then I'm like, "No, you're not eating these." And I throw the bag open into the little grass patch over near where we were walking, which is a bad thing to do, but it was disgusting, and I couldn't hold on to it for any longer. And I think that was just the point. I think I just wanted to have them in my pocket to see what would happen. But I can't remember exactly. But all I remember happening next was that same friend who wanted the carrots then went into the dirt and grabbed the carrots out of the dirt, which the ones that fell out, and started eating them. And I can't remember if I threw up a little or I just gagged for a long time while we were walking home. Because that was so fucking disgusting. I could not imagine anything more disgusting at that very moment. It was so gross. Just eating what smelled like rotten carrots. That was what he did. And it didn't sit well with me. And, yeah, now hopefully it doesn't sit well with any of you. But howdy, everybody. Welcome to Stranded Deep in Conversation. Today, as you can tell from the title, we're talking about my puking stories, and that's one that I didn't have written down, because I spent all of like 10 minutes kind of just remembering as much as I could about some of the more pronounced and individual puking stories I've had in my life, because I have quite a lot, let me tell you. It mainly stems down from the fact that I'm a very motion sick person. I still am. But it was much worse when I was a kid, like most people's motion sickness is. I got very, very sick in cars, in buses, and all that sort of stuff. The only time I didn't get motion sick was during a train ride, which I don't even know why. It didn't have the same hit. I don't know if people do get, I don't think people get motion sick in train rides. Just because, I don't know. I just haven't had it. And like my older sister doesn't really get motion sick for those either. She's arguably more motion sick than I am. So, who knows? Boat sickness. I almost forgot about the boat sickness. I gotta write that down. I'm just gonna type boat sickness at the end of this, and if I remember what that means. Yeah, I was on a boat once. I feel like I might have already talked about this, but I'm talking about it again because I just decided this is what I remembered. And honestly, it all starts from a specific conversation that I had while I was out last Friday. So last week, well, not out. It was my day off, and I was hanging out with my sisters and my older sister's boyfriend. We were all chilling. We had a really good time. We went out to like a big farmer's market thing, and then when we came home, my mom had made the most delicious macaroni and cheese the world's ever seen, because that's just how she makes mac and cheese. It's amazing. It's fantastic, and I wish you could all try it. I ought to just do like a recipe drop one day, but I don't even know the recipe. But I do generally understand what it is. It's literally just mac and cheese, but with tomato soup in it. It's nothing too crazy. It's just delicious. It's fantastic. You have to have it at one point before you die. Please, it's so good. But we were eating that, and I don't remember exactly what we were talking about. We were watching Hell's Kitchen, and they were doing something which got us talking, and at one point I mentioned that I was like discussing what it would be like to throw something up or something like that. Like, I don't know what, but I just remember talking about vomiting, and that led the boyfriend my sister's boyfriend to laugh and say there's a time and place because were eating, and I'm talking about through vomit and shit, which never bothered me, but I guess it does bother some people, which wouldn't be me, but it's some people. So, I should take that in consideration. But what I instead decided to do was take it as a challenge, because I was just like, oh yeah, there's a time and place. That's perfectly fair. But now that I've already talked about vomit and that sort of stuff, I guess now is a time and place. So I told him my most fucking vile, most disgusting, absolute worst puking story that I have in my arsenal. And seeing his reactions as the story unfolded was so fucking funny. And I get so much joy telling this story to people because I just love seeing their reactions. So I wish I'd be telling this to you guys live, but again, I wouldn't really see your reactions, but just, oh, it's so funny. It's the best story in the world. And we're going to start with that today because that's what got me thinking about the topic. But then, of course, there's a bunch of other, stories in there. But this is the main one. This is the big one that you want to hear because it is bad. Now, I was considering saving it for the end, but I'm like, you know what? Nah, I'll just get it out of the way. It segues good from the story because it's part of the story. So, this was back in 4th grade. So, I would have been like 9 years old at the time. And it's so bad that I genuinely remember like most of the details of this entire day. Well, not really, but up until this moment. Like a few minutes before that, and then everything leading into the aftermath. It's bad. It is really, really bad. I don't know what it was with school, but I just kept getting nosebleeds. I kept vomiting. There's a bunch of problems, but this one was really bad. It was a day in 4th grade. We were just, I think we were watching something, we were just doing class. It was something, we were in class, and we were at our regular desks, and I was sitting in my desk, which is right next to the door, because this is where I sat. I was with 2 of my friends, and then this other guy, I don't really remember their name, I don't remember who it was, I just remember there was 2 of my friends there, we were just talking, doing the work, I think it was math, and we were just doing math, and I got that urge, that feeling out of nowhere, that a lot of people probably know, oh dear Lord, I need to throw up. I need to throw up right now. And I didn't have time to ask if I can go to the bathroom. I didn't have time. So what I decided to do is just get up out of my seat, and instead of run out the door to the bathroom, I run to the big trash can, this big like rectangular trash can that's sitting right next to the door. Because I'm like, oh, this would be perfect. I can just throw up in there, and it'll be gross, but hey, at least it'll be contained. I'm thinking about it. I'm really planning ahead, so that way this isn't a disgusting disaster. And I run to the front, which isn't far away. I grab that trash can, and thank goodness I didn't try to go outside because it would not have made it outside. The moment I grabbed that trash can, I let loose. I puked up my brains. And let me tell you, when you're trying your best to contain yourself and vomit into this one precise area, you don't want to be vomiting your brains out. That needs to be like a light, like, sort of thing. This was like a projectile vomiting situation, so I did not entirely hit the trash can in the inside. I definitely hit the rim, and some of it started flowing out onto it and on the ground. I did not I think maybe half of it wound up in the trash can, which would be pretty bad. It would be pretty bad on its own because that's disgusting, right? That's fucking terrible. Just vomiting on the floor, just getting up to then vomit on the floor. I at least looked out for my other classmates, and they all dispersed away from the front of the room. They all, like as I'm vomiting, they're like, oh my god, and they'll practically run away. Like I'm turning into a fucking zombie or something right in front of them. But they ran in fear. And this is the worst part. Because as a kid, one of the things, this might be similar to other people, but I don't know. I feel like every time I tell this story, people don't understand the concept of this. But when I was a kid, when I threw up, I didn't just throw up. I also had the nastiest, gnarliest liquid diarrhea shitting out of my ass at the same time. Not like one after the other. Duo. Like a dynamic duo. Like Batman and Superman. Batman and Robin. It was bad. So, this particular time was one of those times. And so as in my head, I'm like, oh, thank God I made the trash can. Oh, I missed the trash can. Oh no. I'm shitting my pants now too. So there's just shit going, like, and it was fucking so much. It was a ton of, I think I might have shit more than I threw up that day. It was terrible. And it's like, it's all over my ass. It's starting to leak out my pant leg. It's starting to drip onto the floor. There's so much just shit and vomit on the floor. But the thing is, in the way I threw up, and since I missed the trash can, I'm pretty sure most of the people thought I just threw up. Because it looked like it looked the same. It looked the same. It did not smell the same, but also, honestly, you couldn't fucking tell. Because there was so much horrible smell going on that your nostrils were cooked. It smelled so bad. It smelled terrible. It was so bad. It smelled mostly like vomit, though, I will say. So I don't know what I ate, but it was worse than what I shit. Which is good, I guess. But it was terrible. And I just, and when I'm done, I'm left standing there in this puddle of my own shit and vomit. And I don't want to move too much because I don't want people to see it's coming out of my pant leg. So I'm just standing there, like, kind of behind the trash can. Be like, okay, maybe if I just wait it out, it'll all go away, and then I could just go home, and then it'll be fine. Because obviously I'm not staying at school after this, right? You'd think, and you'd be right. I did not stay home. I did not stay at school that day. I got, like, imagine if it made me stay. They thought I just threw up, and they were like, all right, well, you seem okay, all right, you threw up, everything's good, go back to school. Like, no, I can't. I shit my pants. Teach, you don't understand. I didn't tell anybody that I shit. I didn't tell the teacher I shit my pants. I was trying to keep that on the down low. And so they're rushing to get assistance. They call the janitor because, yeah, there's a fucking disastrous mess all over the place. And this is the part that makes me feel so bad about this whole thing. My teacher, I guess they wanted to feel helpful, so they didn't like clean me up or anything. They didn't try to like wipe my face or whatever. They get a paper towel. They get a couple paper towels. And they start scooping up my vomit off the floor to put it into the trash can. And I don't think they knew there was shit in there too. So I think that they were just scoping up my shit vomit concoction. And just, I feel so bad. Because it was vomit. It's one thing, but there was so much liquid. I'm gonna throw up just thinking about it. There's so much liquid shit on the floor too. They had the worst day of their career that day. I'm sure of it. It was bad. It was terrible. I think it was payback from one in 3rd grade. One of the kids in our class just threw up at their desk, and I was like, oh my god, he vomited, or he threw up. No, he threw up. He threw up. I said, he threw up. Oh my goodness. And the teacher, in the middle of helping this kid, because he just threw up and he's in distress, she snaps to me, yells at me, seriously, Harris? Are you serious? It's vomiting. It's vomiting. Like, I'm sorry, is my grammar worse than the situation that's happening right now? Someone threw up on your fucking counter. I'm sorry. I got so mad. I was like, oh yeah, this kid's just fucking vomiting his brains out over there. But no, I'm sorry. I said puked. I said threw up instead of vomited. My bad, teach. You could go help him, please. Like, it was so fucking stupid, but it must have been vengeance. The world was like, oh, you don't know what throwing up is. This is throwing up. And then I also threw down. I shit my pants. That's what I'm trying to say. I didn't twerk out the shit. It was so bad. And then the janitor comes, and then at that point, I can finally go to the nurse. Because I couldn't just go to the nurse. For whatever reason, I had to, like, be escorted to the nurse. I don't know if they just thought I would go hide or run away out of shame and fear. But yeah, so I'm able to go to the nurse after the teacher fucking scoops up my shit. And I didn't say anything. I wasn't like, teacher, there's poop in there too. Because I couldn't say that. There was a whole class of students who just saw me throw up, and they fucking, I hope. I never got confirmation. This event was never spoken of after the fact. But I only hope they didn't know. And I also shit in that pile. I really hope. But then I get to go to the nurse's office where they're told that I threw up and I had to go home right away. And I sit down. I sit down And I look very uncomfortable while I'm sitting down because I'm just like fucking kind of shimming. I'm like, I'm having a bad time. I'm sitting in my own shit. And it's really cold. It's starting to get cold. And they're calling my ma and they're like, hey, you come get Harris. You threw up in school. And at some point, I just start crying. And they get off the phone. And they're like, why are you crying? Are you okay? You threw up. It's alright. That happens sometimes. Like, what's wrong? And I tell her through tears in my eyes and shame in my soul that I pooped. I pooped my pants. And she goes from sympathetic to total horror on her eyes and her face as she yells at me, well, stand up, what are you doing? Stand up, because I'm sitting on her chair. And there's like a clear like framework of like cold shit just around where I was sitting. And they're just telling me stay right there, and they get me like some, I don't know if it was paper towels or a plastic bag or something, but they had me stand over something while my mom came to come get me, and then she did, and we left, and I showered, and then the day was over. I don't remember anything else. I remember the sheer panic, the throw up, my teacher scooping it up. And then the horror in my nurse's eyes when I told her I pooped my pants. I'm like, she had to really squeeze it out of me too, because I didn't want to like say it, but I was so distraught. And they're like, "What's wrong? It's okay. I'm your nurse. It's all right. It's all right. We can help you." And I pooped my pants. It was so fucking horrible. It's so funny now, but it was so horrible. It was terrible. Oh my god, and I only tell you, the reaction from my sister's boyfriend the entire time that story went down was even better. Every time I tell this story to a new person, it's such a better story in my head, because everyone it's the shock, because especially from when I told the nurse that I pooped, that's when it really just hits them. And they just start dying laughing. That's my favorite part. I love telling that story. So now I've told it to you guys. Oh, I wish I was making it up, because that was so embarrassing at the time. But obviously, it was never mentioned again, so I didn't really get that distraught from it. But holy crap, it was so terrible. I don't know why my body did that. Please, someone in the comments, let me know if your body did that too, where you just, whenever you threw up, you had to shit. Like, it got to the point where I had to, like, if I needed to throw up, I would sit on the toilet and then have the trash can at my face, because I couldn't trust myself. There was times where I would lean to the toilet and I'd be, and then I'd be shitting my pants, like, oh no. It was bad. It was terrible. It was genuinely awful. I felt like I was 80 and I had no control of my bowels at that time in my life. Which is true, I didn't. I did not. I think people know that about me. I was very, I didn't shit my pants all the time. I pissed my pants every night. It was horrible. It was terrible. That feels like a lifetime ago. Like, obviously I don't do that now, but I did that up until like I was like probably like 15, 16. Like in high school, I was pissing my pants when I go to bed. It was crazy. But it feels like a lifetime ago, and I was so happy because I remember being miserable every day I woke up. It was just terrible. But yeah, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about other throw-up stories, because I have so many. I narrowed it down to like the main few, like 7 or so. But there's so many vomit stories. I don't know how in the world anyone could compete with me. It's rough. It's tough. It's crazy. Like shitting stories, everyone's got some bad shits, but vomit, I don't think anyone's thrown up to a degree that I have before. I gotta be honest. Going back to school, right? And the main other one, because I threw up before in school, it happened. But the only other time I really remember vividly was in kindergarten. So this was when I was like 5. I was 5 years old, and I had my first vomit moment in school. And holy shit, it was a doozy. It was an absolute train wreck travesty. I was, just doing kindergarten things. We were coloring. I don't remember what we were doing. It was some sort of art thing. I'm pretty sure it was just coloring. But we were coloring, as children do. And out of nowhere, I had no urge, no thoughts in my head other than coloring. And then suddenly I was fucking hurling. I was spewing venom all over my desk. It was disgusting. Because we were just in our class, we were in like, we were stationed, so that way there was like 6 different people at one big desk, and we like sat next to each other. I threw up all over my desk, and then every desk that was clumped up to mine had it like flowed into. So like 6 people's desks were completely covered in my vomit. And I threw up, and obviously the kids ran away, and they were terrified because, again, just the fucking monster, the bog monster of Louisiana, just came out of my fucking mouth, and it was just disgusting. And it was so bad that they had to. I wouldn't say we were trailer trash because there was a school next to us, but our kindergarten classes, for whatever reason, for a few years there, they were held in trailers outside, and we were in a trailer, and the entire class had to go to the other trailer for other kindergarten trailer to be taught stuff there, while I and the other teacher and the janitors just kind of sat there. I didn't get sent home until they were done cleaning. It wasn't like a punishment, I don't think, but I was there for a long time watching them clean and watching them throw out all of my art supplies, which was the most devastating part of that day. I don't remember having much of a reaction to throwing up. But because this is a thing with kids. I don't know what it was. Once you threw up, you felt better. It didn't matter. It didn't matter what was in your system. It didn't matter how much you threw up. But you just throw up even a little bit, you were better. That's just how it was. Whenever you were sick, you threw up, it was all gone. It was like everything was in your stomach, and now it's gone, and you're fine. So I didn't have much of a reaction to the throw up part. I just remember watching in agony as they like tried cleaning my desk and everyone else's desk and underneath, and then just watching them throw away my art box, my blue art box with like 2 lids. Oh, it was awesome. And they threw it all away because I threw up all over it. All my drawings, my coloring, all my coloring. I worked so hard. I had a 9 to 5 coloring that day, and it was all wasted. And so was everyone else at my tables, but I think one person might have gotten away with it. I don't remember. I do not remember, but it was terrible. It was a mess. It was a disaster. And that seems to live on in fucking, like, the time of those kids' life. Because apparently they all went into that other room, and instead of being taught stuff, they, like, played games and shit. Like, they just did, like, I don't know what games. Probably some, like, basic kindergarten, like, monkey in the middle or whatever. I don't know what the fuck people play. But they just got to have a good time. They might have watched like a movie or something. I don't remember, because it was a long time I was in there watching them clean my shit. Not my shit. This time I didn't shit. I just vomited, so it was easier. But yeah, they just were gone for so long. And my sister, because they're my twin, and they were in different classes. They were in, like, my dad made it so we were in different classes because he didn't want us to butt heads or whatever, which is fair. But yeah, she remembers them all coming in, and they're just having an absolutely fucking amazing day. And I don't know how. I guess, like, I mean, again, we were kindergartners, so I guess they didn't really understand the ramifications of, but it probably just died in there. Because it was a while. I'm surprised they didn't, like, start to worry. But also, again, they were kindergartners, so they don't really know what worrying is, except for when fucking Blue's Clues goes off the television. They're like, where'd Steve go? He fucking skidooed out of my TV. I miss him. But yeah, it was disgusting. It was so gross. And another part of school that always had me throwing up was the school field trips. And I was, in fact, that kid who threw up on the bus no matter what trip you went on. It was bad. It was terrible. Eventually, I learned to just sleep on the bus, which did kind of help. But sometimes I just wake up and I'd be like, oh shit, I go. No matter what. And this was until like 8th grade when we stopped doing like field trips as a school. Because like my high school didn't really do many field trips like that. We took the train and shit. But for my K to 8 year, every single class I was in, they had to inform the teachers that, hey, that kid's gonna fucking throw up. Did not matter how far you were going. Didn't matter if it was the smoothest ride imaginable. Just the fact that you're on a bus, that kid's gonna throw up. They had to make sure they had those fucking shitty plastic bags, those like black grocery bags. Which, why is that the go-to? Why couldn't places just have like vomit bags? You know, like something actually sturdy. Because there's one time where I threw up and I fucking punctured a hole right through that damn bag, and I threw up right through the bag. It was just it was terrible. So then we had to start doubling the bags. So I had to start doubling the bags. I had 2 fucking bags basically holding up against my face the entire time. And there were other kids that were like flight risks in that sort of situation. Like they could throw up. We'll give them like a fucking lifesaver. That'll probably help them. I didn't like lifesavers. I didn't like candy. I hated candy as a kid. So I didn't hate it. I just didn't want. I didn't try it early enough, so I didn't know if I liked it, so I didn't want to eat it ever. So I didn't have that crutch. Even if I did, I probably would throw it up anyway. That's just like eating food when you're fucking out and about. That's the worst. That's the worst thing you could do, is eat while you're in motion sickness. That's terrible. I think if you do throw up, you're throwing up some freaking shit, throwing up nasty stuff. But yeah, it was horrible. So every school trip, I had to be just like in the front. No matter what, I had to be in the front, usually with like a chaperone, because no other kid wanted to sit next to me because I was so prone to vomit. Not even my friends wanted to sit next to me. They'd sit in a row like across from me. They would not sit next to me. They refused. They hard refused until like 8th grade, where we went on a trip to Six Flags or something. Or was it a Philadelphia trip? I don't remember. One of them I got to sit next to one of my friends, which was nice. Every other time, no. And I'm not even joking. I think every time but like the last couple, I did throw up. There was no stopping. I think the Six Flags trip was the one where I did not throw up, but that's because it got fancy buses. There are cool buses on to go there. But every other trip, we fucking hurled. Every time. It was terrible. It was so bad. And it got to the point, especially when we were young, that I would do it so much, because there were so many field trips, that one time I threw up all over my ma. And from that moment on, they just refused to go on any more field trips because they didn't want to get puked on again, which is so fair, but also, Ma, come on, I wanted to go to the thing. It's like, you could without a chaperone, but they usually needed like 3 or 4, like, what do they call them? Examples? Not examples. Chaperones, I guess. Just, what's the word for like a volunteer? Like volunteer chaperones from like the parents and stuff. And a couple parents were always there, and it used to be my ma until I threw up on her, and then that never happened again. But yeah, I was always like, this kid needs to be on watch at every moment while you're on the bus. And whenever we got off the bus, they let me out first, and they're like, "You good? Everything's all right? You're fine? And, okay, let's do this thing." And sometimes I'd be fine, sometimes I wasn't. It was brutal. It was very brutal. Yeah, that was just life. Being a motion sick kid, and I'm sure most of you can relate to. Not most of you, but the ones who got motion sick can relate to that. But it was bad, and it was even. Not like it was worse. I think bus rides were definitely the worst. Like the school bus, crappy, like constantly feels like you're being fumigated. Like you're a termite in someone's house. They just tented up. So kind of like that. But cars were definitely like it wasn't super different, but it was just barely a bit more bearable, but it was still very bad. It was very bad. Car rides never ended too well for me. I mean, they ended, like, most of the time it didn't end in throwing up. But a fair amount of those times, they would. And a lot of those times I didn't throw up, I was on the fucking brink of it, and we just got to where we had to go in time before the vomit came out of my mouth. It was terrible. But as I mentioned, sometimes it wasn't always so lucky, which brings us to a time where my family was being driven by my aunt, which is basically the only time I was ever really in a car when I was a kid, was from my aunt. And we were going to the Crayola factory, baby. I don't know which one. I don't know what the fucking Crayola factory is, other than just a place where they talk about crayons, and there's a play place with crayon themes, and you just got to have a fun time. We went there several times, until one time where we made such a ruckus in the car that my dad was like, "If you don't stop, we're not going, and we're never going back." And we didn't stop, and you know what? The man of his word, he took us, or he turned that ship around, and we never went back. So, your call on if that was a good thing to do, but I mean, hey, he gave us a set guideline, and we didn't follow it, so can't really blame him. But it was a cool place. I don't remember much about it, except it's the play place, but the only other thing I remember about it was that instance where we were told we can't go anymore, and the one time. And this wasn't the first time, because we were excited to go there. So it was like maybe the second or third time we went over there. It was a kind of a long ride. It was like probably close to like an hour assuming I can remember from this long ago. I don't remember when it was. I don't remember. It was before 3rd grade at least, and somewhere around that time. It was definitely before I was 10 because my dad was there in the story. So that answers that bit of a question for me. But yeah, we were driving to the Corolla factory, and I was kind of like scrawny. Like I was pretty skinny kid, at least for a while there. And as a result, I often sat in the middle of the car seat because, you know, like there's the 2 seats next to the windows, and there's the one where it's like, oh yeah, I guess I could fit here. And that's where I sat. And let me tell you, it was pretty bad. Everyone who's car sick knows that the middle is not the place you want to sit. You want to sit by a window so we have constant airflow. And if the airflow is not working, just close it, and at least you can have like you chill. But you have the option. And then if you do throw up, you throw up out the window. And then just the outside of your car, and probably the outside of the person behind you's car, gets gross. So it all works out. Honestly, this is the best situation for everybody involved. But no, they had me in the middle. And I think after this moment, this might have been the moment, they started realizing, oh yeah, he can't go in the middle. Put him on the side, I don't care. He cannot go in the middle. Because this does not end well. I had a plastic, feeling gross, because I do. It's a car. I'm in a car. Automatically assume I'm feeling gross and I'm about to throw up at any moment. I'm inside of a car. My father hands me this plastic bag, and I'm like, okay, plastic bag, I can do this. It's okay, if I gotta throw up, throw it in the bag. And this is a time, of course, hence the story being told, I threw up. I threw up, and let me tell you, I did not use that plastic bag. It did not come close. It wasn't like the trash can at school where it was like I kind of got it in there, but I kind of didn't. No, I got nothing in that bag of trash. I instead opted for throwing up all over myself. Literally just drenching my shirt in vomit. And not only that, but also puking somehow on my twin sister because they were sitting beside me. I can't remember what side. I was going to say right, but I'd be a liar because I don't know which one. But yeah, they were sitting next to me. And I threw up on them as well. In the car. We didn't get out. Because I don't know what it is. People would rather run the risk of like vomit being in their car and stinking up their car and ruining the inside of their car over just pulling aside for a couple minutes and letting a kid breathe or just throw up outside. Like they would rather run the risk than just get rid of the risk. And they kind of deserved it because there's definitely times where I have told them I'm going to throw up. I cannot go any longer. And they're like, oh, hold on, just 2 more minutes. And 2 minutes couldn't last it. I told you. You know, I'm an honest chap. I'm not just saying it because I want to go and look at the duck pond over there. I'm saying it because I got to throw up. So I throw up all over me and my sister. And I don't remember much else that happened after this, other than there was a lot of throw up. A lot of it got on my sister. Because she does not let me live this down. They don't let me live it down in the slightest. But the only other thing I remember is going, I don't remember what store it was either, but we went to a store and we had to pull over because we're now covered in throw up. So now we had to pull over, so, lose for you there, aunt. But we go into this store and my aunt buys me a shirt and I change in the parking lot. And that's the main part of the story that they don't let me live down for some reason. Like, I threw up on my sister and then I had to change in the parking lot. Because my shirt was covered in vomit, so I had to get a new shirt. I don't think I got new pants. I think my pants were fine. I had to get a new shirt, which is really confusing. It was a nice shirt. But I was like, what the hell? Like, why? Now I'm thinking about it. Why didn't I change my pants? And every time I think about this story, 2 things confuse me the most. We never stopped to clean the car. We only went in to get myself a shirt, and then we left. But also, I don't have any memory. Any at all. I'm sure it happened because it had to happen. But I don't remember ever getting something from my sister, so that way they could change too. In my brain, it is throw up, go to like Kohl's or something, get one shirt, put it on in parking lot, leave. No cleaning of the car or of my sister. So who the fuck knows? They might have just been covered in throw up, but I don't think they were. I feel like they probably went in there too and got like, a change of clothes. But I was the only one. I'm the only one I can remember, and they definitely didn't change in the parking lot because they made fun of me for that. So they either changed in the bathroom, or they didn't change at all. So whatever the actual answer is there, it is still a mystery to me, because they don't know either. And if they do, I haven't asked, so who knows. But it was bad. It was bad being a kid with motion sickness, because that stuff happened way too frequently. But luckily, it hasn't happened in a long time. Like, it's been at least 4 years, I want to say, since I've puked. Like, I definitely didn't puke after high school. Like, going into college and after that, so, like, after 2020, have not puked, gotta say. Pretty crazy. I've had some pretty wicked, like, sickness and, like, headaches and really bad, like, congestion and shit. And recently, my throat just decides to stab me. Like, there's nothing in my throat. I haven't eaten in a while, but my throat just decides to be like, hey, poke. And I'm like, ow. So yeah, that's fun. But yeah, no, I haven't thrown up in a while. And I know I'm jinxing it now talking about it, but it's definitely been more than 4 years too, because I don't remember throwing up ever in high school either. So I don't know. At one point, my body was like, oh yeah, that's stupid. Let's not do that anymore. It hurts. And I stopped doing it. And I know obviously at some point I'm going to throw up, but I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a really nasty case of food poisoning. I don't know if it's just going to be because I drink too much at one point. Or we're out with my coworkers, my friends, or family, or whatever. I have no idea. I truly don't know. But as a kid, I threw up all that I needed to. Even during situations that did not at all need it to happen. And this goes into the next story, where we were at the dentist. Yay, the dentist. I didn't care for the dentist. I didn't care for doctors. I didn't care for any of that shit. Just because I felt awkward. I don't know what it was. But dentist especially, as most kids do, because scary stuffing in my mouth. I honestly didn't care that much about that. It was fine. It was fine. Dentist was cool. I didn't want to go, but when I was there, I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. Alright, thanks. Like, it was whatever. But I was still pretty young. I don't remember exactly how old, but I was old enough to where I was in the room, I'm pretty sure on my own, with the dentist. So it couldn't have been like it couldn't have been any older than like 5 or 6 maybe, I don't know. But I was in there. We were, just doing the basic cleaning stuff, like looking at my teeth. They were fine. They were perfect. God, I remember the days of perfect teeth. I don't know how I had such good teeth, because I barely brushed my teeth. Throughout like my entire childhood, I barely brushed my teeth. I wouldn't brush my teeth with toothpaste because it tasted too strong and I would want to throw up. So I barely brushed my teeth with like things that were like water, which I guess was enough because the dentist never had much bad things to say about my teeth. Yeah, it was cool. In fact, I kept most of my baby teeth for a while until one point where the last one was still in there, and they were like, "You need to get it out so that your other teeth can grow crop properly," which they never did. They still grew very weird. But then they just ripped out my tooth without any anesthetic or anything. They were just like, "Oh, we gotta get rid of this. You getting rid of this? We getting rid of this, Mom? We getting rid of this? Okay." And ripped it out of my mouth. It was fucking so painful. I was in misery for days. It was really bad. But this particular time, it was same old, and then they get to the polish, or I think it was the polish anyway. Where like they're cleaning up your teeth, you do the little, and they like rub like a brush with like some weird flavory shit on. Like usually it's mint, but they asked me if I wanted mint, grape, or bubblegum. And I was like, oh, goody, bubblegum, that sounds delicious. And I don't know why. I never once eaten bubblegum. I never tried bubblegum. I never had bubblegum in my life. But just not mint was such a blessing, because I hated mint. I still do. Mint is a terrible flavor. It shouldn't exist. But I was like, oh, bubblegum, that sounds awesome. Because grape reminded me of cough syrup. And at the time, I hated cough syrup. Nowadays, if I'm not drinking water, I'm drinking cough syrup. That's just the hard truth. But, bubblegum, sign me up. So they pop in the bubblegum little polisher thingy. And I do not joke when I say the moment that they put that thing in my mouth and it touched my teeth, I fucking puked all over myself. Because I was like laying down. Because they were like, they were just finishing up. And I was like in like a laying position so they can get it in my mouth. fucking threw up all over myself. If like I was sleeping, I'd be dead because I would have choked on my own vomit because there was so much fucking vomit all over myself, and it was so bad. It was terrible because I don't know. It was that strong flavor because anything with strong flavors I just couldn't do as a kid. Even like strong smells. Like, same to today, but like, if there's like too strong of like a coffee smell or a minty taste or something, I gag so strongly, and it's terrible. And this time I just fucking let it rip because there's something in my mouth while I had this horrible flavor, so I was like, bleh! I need to get it out. So it came out, and the dentist was not very happy about it. But yeah, I just kind of laid there while he cleaned it up. And then I think he used mint after that because he's like, okay, you don't like the bubble gum. That's fine. We'll just use the regular stuff. And it was still pretty gross, but I didn't throw up. I think I got it all out of my system at that point. Yeah, it was pretty gnarly, pretty gross. I felt bad for that dentist. That was our family dentist for a long time. So I did not make a good impression. My sister made a great impression, but I did not. But at the same time, though, my teeth are healthy. They're not very healthy now, but I'm working on it. So, you know, I'm doing the best that I can, which is everything my dentist tells me to do. So, hey, progress. But that's not about throw up. Let's talk about another throw up story, because I still have more. There's still a couple more, at least. You know, I have way too much throw up story. Way too many throw up stories. I really don't understand. It's kind of sad. We'll try to lightning round these last few because they're kind of smaller stories. There was one time where I was, I say this one time, during my dad's funeral, because again, I was 10, so I was, you know, a kid, and very motion sick. We have like, I don't want to call it a limo, but it was like a small limo. Like, you get in there and it's like very limo-esque. Like, there's like seats on the sides, there's like a thing in the middle, there's a TV that we couldn't watch because my mom didn't want us to watch anything on it. And we sat there, and me and my older sister, we were in hell trying not to throw up. And eventually my older sister threw up, and then like a little bit after that, I threw up. But luckily, we actually had those black bags, and I threw up into the black bag. Because my mom basically forced me to like hold it over my mouth the entire time until I threw up. When I did, it stayed in there, and there was 2 bags, so it didn't rip through or anything. It was honestly super cool, super easy. It was probably the easiest I've ever thrown up. And yeah, it was still in a limo. So I'm one of few people who've thrown up in a limo. I was 10, but I still did it. So call me cool, somebody, please. Let's talk about boat sickness because there's one time I've ever been on a boat, and it was when some of my cousins had like a, I don't want to call it a quinceañera, but it was like a guy's quinceañera. Like, you turned a certain age, and it was like, oh, dude, I'm like a man now, so we need to do something about it. So they rented a boat, and we didn't just leave it in harbor. We fucking went sailing on that boat, and we went sailing like out. We like saw like the Statue of Liberty and shit, and like nice waters and stuff. I still have pictures from that day, but that might be the last time I've really thrown up in recent memory. Because I was not like super young, but I was a decent age, and I just remember trying to exist on that boat was the worst time of my life. It started fine, and then at one point it just clicked, like, oh god, and I'm literally like, the entire time we were partying, and then once it snapped, I was in like the party area, but I was in a chair in the corner, like clutching myself, like I was like panicking, because I was like holding on for dear life in like the fucking fetal position, just trying not to throw up, and I did eventually throw up. It was into a bag. For some reason I didn't think to throw up over the side of the boat, so I didn't get that cool experience in my life, but I threw up on a boat. It just wasn't the cool way. And it was, pretty gross. But after that, I did feel kind of better, but I was still very just fucking, just nauseous the entire time. So it kind of sucked. But before that happened, though, it was a great day. I had a lot of fun. Got to see a lot of family I haven't seen in a while, and it was just really cool. It was awesome. I would do it again. But we don't really talk to those cousins very much nowadays. And I don't think anyone I know is rich, has any money to buy a boat or rent a boat even. Like that probably cost a lot. That was a big fucking like party yacht sort of thing. Not like a big yacht, but it was like a decent sized boat. It was like pretty big. Yeah, it held like 40, 50 people. So it was a pretty good boat, pretty big boat. Yeah, it was just, yeah, it was pretty bad. But yeah, I mean, you know, it's always the thing. Once you throw up, you kind of just feel better, and it was great. It was super, super good, except for that boat time. It was just a bad boat time. I have one more story, and this is not like the best, but it's pretty funny. I always laugh when I think about this story. It was the middle of the night. I was very young, and I just woke up, and I thought, I need to throw up. I've never really had that wake up in the middle of the night really needing to piss moment. Because, as I've told you before, I just pissed through the night. Didn't matter. So I never had that. But I had that with throwing up. And I woke up with the urge to vomit. If I didn't vomit, I was going to go crazy. And so I got out of my bed. And I ran on out from my room, into the living room, into the kitchen, into the bathroom. Well, to the bathroom. Because that's how our layout was. It was a very weird layout. But the door was closed. Door was locked. And I was like, ah, shit. What do I do? You know, in like 4-year-old language. And so I just knock on the door. And it's my mom that's in the bathroom. And they're like, who's there? Who's there? And I can't say anything to them, or I'm going to throw up all over the floor because I feel it coming up, and it's a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before it comes out. So I pound on the door even harder, and they're like, what do you want? Stop. Who's there? And eventually they actually open the door, and the moment they realize it's just me, they get a little less mad. They're like, oh, hey, yeah, what's up? What you need? And at that moment they say that, they open the door, I finally have an entrance, a straight shot to the toilet to throw up in. I throw up all over the floor. I just look down, and I throw up all over, like, the little way in between the bathroom and the kitchen. I fucking puke all in that little doorway. And my mom, when I freaked the first time, she's like, "Oh, go to the back, go to the toilet, go to the toilet, go to the toilet," and I just puke again on the floor, and she's just so mad. She got so mad at me because I just couldn't make it to the toilet. But like, if you just opened the door, you would have known. I could have saved this. Could have stopped this, Ma. Could have stopped it. Yeah, I just puked all over the floor, and she was really mad. Like, it was just, I laugh because I just think of them being like, "What's up? Hello, who's there?" And they open the door, like, "Hey, what you need?" It's just so fucking funny. I have so many more stories. I can't remember them. I know there's more in my brain, so there might be a part 2 to this eventually. But those are the main ones. Those are like the best ones that I can really think of right now. I'm sure, as always, once I'm done recording this, I will regret not having talked about something. But that regret will have to be for another day, because today, I'm done. Done talking. It's been great. Thank you all. If you have any nasty throw-up stories, let me know, because I think there's always moral of the story, there's always a time and place for vomit stories, and it's all the time. I don't think there's anything wrong with talking about it. Pooping stories, sometimes a little different. But vomit stories, nah, you can never have a bad vomit story time, you know? It's just fun. It's just good times all around. So thank you all. Let me know if you have any, and I'll see you all tomorrow. It'll be pretty fun. And then, yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. Take care, everybody, and have a great one. I guess I'll see you here next week. But, you know, hey, that's fine. Maybe we'll play a game or something. maybe we'll do something. Well, you see last episode? I fucking killed that boss. That was awesome. I don't know if I killed the boss this episode yet. I haven't figured that out, but I'm learning how the game is played. Because I looked at the map and the cartographer menu, and I saw little X's. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it's cool. There's bosses and shit. I honestly didn't really notice that. So we're almost done with the game. I don't know what we're going to do after that. We'll have to think of something. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody. Take care.